YouTube, what's going on? Black Phoenix here, bringing you the YouTube video, another YouTube video. In this video, we're actually going to be talking about improvements to the game of Madden Ultimate Team, one of the best modes in Madden 16, or just in general in sports games. Madden Ultimate Team has just been fantastic this year with the promos, the amount of cars, the way you can build coins or gain coins, and things of that nature. But, with that being said, there's also some improvements that can be made to the mode. Personally, from what I see, and then just for a couple of other things that I've been noticing lately. So let's just start off from what I like about the mode. The one thing I do like about the mode, like I said, as mentioned before, is the ability to make coins in a variety of ways. You have tons upon tons upon tons of solo challenges. You have head-to-head seasons. You can work the auction block. There's also wagers if you're into that type of thing, or tournaments that offer out coin rewards as well. So you have that option. Pulling packs to sell your, quick sell items are another way of making coins and everything like that. So I think this year, compared to last year, they did a really good job of just making so much more available. And I'm gonna show you guys what I mean too. Um, or never mind. I guess the option selected is not currently available. So maybe maybe I can't show you. Let's try that again. But what I mean is by that is just in general, there's so many things. Okay, so something I had to sell real quick, so that's probably why it's giving me that screen. But like I said, the main thing that make money this year is solo challenges, and the guys at the Mutt team definitely did a good job with a variety of things. Mutt, like the Master, Mutt Master, Style Master on the 50 sets for Steve Young, which is actually going away right now, which is surprising. You have the Legend solos, you have the Style solos, Gauntlets to get the Marshawn Lynch, you have the Journey to get the Cooper. The Journey 2 was for, or excuse me, this is the Jameis, Cooper, and then the Vic Beasley. Then you always have like weekly challenges, so maybe it's the final editions or position heroes, team of the week, the showcase, which is really good. It's just so many variety of things, and then the main promo that's going on, like right now, it's the Easter promo. It's just so many good ways to make coins this year, and they, like I said, they did a very good job of getting more solo challenges, so there's more ways to make coins. So realistically, there's no excuse for you not to make coins. It's just a matter of do you actually want to put in the time to make for solo challenges or not. With that being said, though, one negative that I do find about doing the solo challenges and just things of that notion with promos is that there's awfully a lot of work for, let's say, like the Easter Masters, which is Night Train Lane. I feel like there's a lot of extra stuff that you have to do for one item. And like I said, in this particular case, you only get the Night Train Lane. You don't really get a good coin reward. I feel like that may or may not help. Maybe you put it like 100K, 200K, 300K, depending on how many things you have to pull and how many cards you have to acquire. But I just feel like that's just something that just to look into, just kind of give you a little bit more of a reward for taking the time to spending the coins, to buying the coins, pulling the packs, whatever the case may be, to get this type of player. In this case, Night Train Lane, and just a little, just like just give it like an extra reward for it. Like I said, one item, and if that item doesn't perform well or the way it should be, then it's kind of you feel like you wasted your time. So. That's just my recommendation. Just a little bit more rewards for the master sets. Like I said, same thing with Night Train Lane. Same thing applies to Barry Sanders for Thanksgiving. I think Bo Jackson for the Ultimate Freeze, and Brian Dawkins for the most free. I just feel like it didn't reward you enough for completing that particular set outside of the card. So, like I said, that's just my thing. Another thing that I want to say as far as collections and cards of that nature is sometimes that when you, let's say you put a lot of badges into a set, you get this like weird message. Let's see if I can actually kind of trigger that message real quick. If I can, then cool. If not, then no big deal. So for instance, say you're putting bronze badges and you want to get your silver badges up, or get your silver badge game up, right? So you put all these bronzes in a set, and then here you go, you have a silver and everything like that. And normally you should be able to, do whatever with your silver, put it into another set, things of that nature, which is cool. But sometimes what I've seen happen in my Ultimate Team, this makes me a little bit upset, frustrated sometimes. It's nothing like major, but it's just something minor that happens a lot more times than not. Is this message right here, this processing message that immediately as soon as you get the card, it pops up, and then unfortunately, you can't just be like, okay, well, just let me click it again, and it goes away. So maybe that's something that the MUT dev team can look at in order to fix. It's just like it happens a lot too. Another thing that happens too is sometimes is that when that particular, let's say that silver badge loads up again, I find that sometimes you get this freezing issue that happens and it makes you have to dashboard it, and it just permanently freezes your game. Like I don't understand why it happens, but again, that's something that hopefully the MUT dev team and the MUT guys can look at fixing going forward into Madden 17. The one thing also about MUT this year that I do is more of a do and don't like, and it's the leaderboards this year. Leaderboards, especially to me, have been, at least lately, they haven't been the greatest. I wish they kind of would have fixed the system a little bit or changed the way they want to do things, which is going to lead me into another segment here. But for example, the leaderboards basically kind of reflect more so about who made the most scores and who plays the game the most, rather than oh, I'm the best because my record is the best. For instance, you have the top 100 here, and most of these guys are good players that I know of and played against for the most part. But then you have people like this, where if you like submit to losses, where you have somebody like this that doesn't have the best record, but he's played so many games, almost let's see around over 4,000 games, and this guy is number 13 on the list. So I feel like either one or two things should happen here. Either it's going to have to reflect like an unranked mode, or creating a ranked mode where like, hey, your wins and losses actually mean something. Maybe the difficulty goes from all pro to all Madden, just for that competitive state to say, hey, I'm tops in MUT for a reason, and it actually shows you like, okay, I have the best the loss record in MUT, and my win loss ratio is that high. And it actually reflects, skill and stuff like that. But, if I just think that's probably like the best route to go. Like I said, have a ranked mode and then have an unranked mode where, like I said, if you make the most points, then obviously, hey, you get to be number one on the spot. You played the game the longest, whether or not you demote yourself or you just straight up just goon through the whole entire Madden Ultimate Team seasons and your scheme is A1 and stuff like that, then that's fine. You could be number one. But speaking of demoters too, I wish there was a little bit more penalty for demotions. Like this guy's got 186 demotions. And same thing, it just goes back to my top 100 thing where it doesn't reflect like the actual best in Madden Ultimate Team. You got guys here second pro, second all pro, second all Madden, first rookie, and they're top 100 because they play the game a lot. First pro, first all pro. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, especially like I said, and to me, when I look at the top 100, I'm thinking these guys are the best of the best in this particular mode, like no doubt about it, no questions asked. And seeing people demote themselves a top or like second pro or first rookie and then just continually dominate, not only is that unfair to the top 100 people who have grinded their butts off, but it also is kind of unfair to those who aren't trying to match with the high overall teams like my squad is, and they demote themselves to first rookie, second rookie, all that, and they're facing like a 98 overall team they shouldn't be. Like maybe there's got to be some kind of a punishing system, some type of tracker that says, hey, this guy's been demoting himself, for X amount of time. Like we should do something about it. Like I said, hopefully the dev team is looking at that. Hopefully that's on their radar. If not, it definitely should be. But then, like I said, that's just my opinion on things. Another thing that I would like to see in Madden Ultimate Team, I mentioned this in my previous video for practice mode improvements, is that you can actually have a practice mode for your Ultimate Team. And a lot of the other modes you can practice with regular. If you want to play ranked head-to-head matches, you can obviously hit the practice mode. For your CFM, you have practice mode, but for MUT, it's definitely lacking in the practice mode because I feel like if you have a scheme, let's say like my high 98 overall team, if I wanted to practice a route against my my Odell Beckham versus my Rod Woodson here, and if I know Odell Beckham could get open against a certain route or a certain way against a Rod Woodson, a high 98 overall card, then that gives me the confidence that know that my scheme is actually working or something is actually working. So, and like I said, just gives more value to the mode itself instead of just collecting cards, playing head-to-head seasons, and putting things in the sets, and that's it. And don't get me wrong, that's very good, but I want to take it a step further, and like I said, initiate practice mode. Another thing that I'd like to see brought back to, I noticed this had some issues earlier in the year, and I guess this is why they took it away, is the custom jerseys. It definitely, don't get me wrong, like you can have the regular jerseys, but something about having those throwback jerseys or even custom jerseys Um, to say like, hey, this is my team. Like, it makes it feel like it's my squad, it's my ultimate team, not yours. It's mine. Just some way to differentiate yourself from like say another guy that's wearing rocking regular Lions uniforms and stuff like that. So either bringing back the premium alternate uniforms, or just like I said, going the custom route with not only with the uniforms, but with the stadiums too. Like I feel like we can actually use some custom stadiums and stuff like that. But that's probably way in the future when things aren't freezing, when things aren't causing issues and errors and the bugs and stuff like that in Madden. Maybe we can look forward to that in 18, maybe 19 or something like that, or maybe even 17 if they work it out properly and stuff like that. A lot of people have been asking, what about custom audibles? What about custom playbooks and MUT? I am more of a fan of custom audibles than I am custom playbooks. I feel like with custom playbooks, it becomes more of a little bit of a cheese fest. I can see why the argument is made for custom playbooks. You're getting kind of like custom cars. You might as well get custom playbooks. And yeah, yes, but at the same time, somebody could just easily put the best players in the game and dominate. Same thing on defense. You could play the best gap blitzes out there and dominate and stuff like that. So I'm a little bit more on the custom audibles than I am the custom playbooks. But hopefully that's something we can look forward to in Madden 17. Because like I said, for me, it's unfair that you can make custom audibles in CFMs. You can make custom audibles in ranked matches. You can't do it in draft champions, but we don't have that option in Madden Ultimate Team. So maybe that's something we can look at changing. So maybe like when you change or select your playbook, you have like a button, like an X button or something like that, like change the audibles or something like that. Or maybe in the settings or something like that, you go to like audible settings or something like that. So maybe that's something we can look forward to in the future of Madden Ultimate Team. Like I said, it's a great mode and everything like that. Other than that, I'm trying to think of anything else that really stands out to me that kind of needs to be fixed. Oh, here's something too that I just thought about. Here's my thing is just coaches. About I think it was Madden 25. We actually had coaches that gave you offensive and defensive styles. This year they kind of went dual styles, like double down on defense, double down on offense. But we don't see too many cards that have both offense and defense. The only one that comes to mind is the John Madden and this Rex Ryan card here, this little pepper card. I would like to see more offense and defensive styles. For instance, it's hard to find a coach that has both speed run and pass rush chemistry. So there's no coach in the game that has that, unfortunately. At least to my knowledge. If there is, let me know in the comment section or on Twitter and stuff like that. But I would like to see just dual styles, like actually mean dual styles, like offense, defensive style. And like I said, you could probably put make cards, double defense, double offense, or something like that in the future. But would definitely like to see both offense and defense be addressed in the future, just for like a small tidbit of cards and stuff like that. I know people are going to be asking about what about legends? What legends do you want to see? And that one's kind of a little bit out of my control of what I can suggest. In a sense that it's really not up to me to really say, hey, we want to get him in this game. It's really up to the player, the legend himself, to say, hey, I want my rights to be used, and whether or not they could pay EA, or if they want too much money that EA doesn't pay. It's really not up to my control whether or not the legends show up. I do, like I said, the legends that we have now, I think it's a lot better than what we've had in the past, where it used to be just Sammy Ball and George Blanda and Dave Casper. I kind of want to see Dave Casper be brought back. But a lot of these old legends, like I like the legend system that they had now, where they started off with Elway and Finneran, where they had Shannon Sharp at the beginning, where they had, I believe, like the legends that they had now are just perfect because it's current. People, even the younger fans, may at least have heard of these guys from either their parents or even current people a little bit older than them. So I think they did a very good job with the legends this year. Obviously, I want to see more legends come back in the future, but like I said, that's not up to me. That's up to the guys at EA and up to the guys, the legends themselves, to say whether or not they want to be used in the game. However, what I would say is that I don't particularly like, like cards getting like ultimate legends, like Dez Bryant. It doesn't seem like he deserves an ultimate legend, or somebody like Antonio Gates does, because he's been in the league so long and he's built that Hall of Fame resume. But like Calvin Johnson retiring, that's fine too, now that he's actually retired. But like Dez Bryant and like Cromartie and stuff like that, like guys that really don't have like those Hall of Fame kind of careers, I don't agree with him having legends and stuff like that. So maybe, like I said, that's something they could fix. in the future, or maybe just address it. Maybe it's not a big deal to them or anything like that for card's sake and things of that nature. I'm trying to think of anything else on this list. I have pack odds. So this year, I feel like they kind of reduced the pack odds a little bit, so that way not everybody has like a 98 overall team at the jump, which is good and or bad because I feel like it's in a good way. Is because you limit the model cars are in circulation and stuff like that. Prices go down if you have too much. Prices go way too far up if you have limited or barely any cars like like Masters, limited time heroes, anything like that. But I feel like a lot of people get frustrated because that, in the sense that because they spend let's say like $100 on this, or like an all rookie team pack, and let's say like there was like a limited time Ultimate Legend boss Shannon Sharp that's going to be coming out or whatever, right? And if they spend $100 and the best card that they pull is like a base elite Matt Forte, and I can see the frustration with that, especially. So I feel like they should just up the pack, like not that much, like maybe if it's like at the chances of pulling really good cards are at 5, like boost it up to like maybe like a 6.5, just to give us a little bit more bang for our buck. I don't want to say reward, but a little bit bang for our buck, make the pack out so that way we actually get something worth of value. And don't get me wrong, every card has value, whether you see it currently or not doesn't matter right now, but in the future they always have value, they always come back. So that's just my feedback. Let me see if I have anything else on this list before I end the video here. And I think that's pretty much all I've hit on the items, the binders, the sets, the processing menu, the processing message that you get. Hit on the styles, hit on the pack outs, hit on the modes that we like to see with the unranked and ranked head-to-head seasons. Top 100 I've hit on. And that's pretty much it. So unless you guys have feedback in the comment section, leave it in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think as a community. Like I said, all these videos are going to be sent to the developers to at least get that on their radars if they haven't thought about that or somebody hasn't addressed it in their meetings or anything like that. So on a note, guys, I will see you guys in the next feedback video. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. 5Gs. Peace.